Have you ever heard someone describe a country as third world or first world? Well, what does that mean? And what is a second world country? Well, the history of them begins during the Cold War in 1952. There were two sides to this conflict. First was the United States and other capitalist nations, including France, Brazil, Australia, South Africa, and others. Second was the communist nations, led by Russia, but included China, Vietnam, North Korea, Cuba, and others. Russia's communism versus America's capitalism. These terms were first used in French magazine L'Observateur in 1952, and were used to describe which side of the conflict countries were on. Countries that allied with the US in capitalism during the Cold War were referred to as first world countries, while countries that were allied with Russia and chose communism were referred to as second world countries. Third world countries, then, were countries that decided to stay neutral in the Cold War and did not choose a side, like Sweden and Switzerland. Since the Cold War ended, though, the meanings of the words have shifted. First world countries now describe countries that are very industrialized, rich, and developed. The USA and China are great examples of this. A third world country refers to countries that are not very industrialized, meaning their economy still focuses on agriculture, and these countries are also not as developed. Now, second world countries, as you might have guessed, lay somewhere in between first world and third world countries. They are the countries that have a decent economy that is shifting its focus from agriculture to industry and are in the middle of developing. These terms, you might find, are somewhat outdated and actually can be considered offensive. So it's best to use the terms developed nations and developing nations. Thank you for watching.